I'm not a manager, so I don't know.
Yet.
Yeah, I'm not a manager yet. And it's, I'm not going to sit here and say what the best managers do and don't do, because I've not worked under. There's so many different managers do different ways. But I think man management, me as a player, if you can man manage me as a player, I mean, most players, you'll get the best out of them if you are honest with them. And I think the best man managers generally get the best out of a squad. If you can keep 18 players, 20 players relatively happy, then you've got so much more scope for success, because you've got everyone trying to pull in the same direction, and everyone sees, like this season for instance with us being successful, is because we've had a nucleus of probably 18 to 20 players who are all pulling in the same direction, who all 100% are behind the manager and the staff, and we trust their judgment, we trust what they do without question. And I think if you can get that in a change room, then you've got so much ability, so much room, like say, for improvement, and there's really only one way you're going, and that's up. So we've been very fortunate that we've had that. I think the experienced players we've got at the squad are very good. They obviously trust in the manager, so they breed confidence in the younger players, and it's just the snowball effect's gone the other way, and it's just gotten better and better and better, and that is a lot down to the manager being a good man manager. He speaks to you, and he's honest. He'll tell you if he doesn't like what he sees. But I think if everyone's honest with themselves, and if you've had a bad game and the manager says you've had a bad game, if you go home and are honest with yourself, you know that he's right. So then you can come in the next day and he won't hold a grudge. You'll be like, you understand what I'm saying? Yes. Move on. That's fine. I think there might be some players from last season that'll probably say the opposite, because they probably heard what they didn't want to hear. But he was just being honest. That's the kind of person he is, the manager. And I think any self-respecting player would rather just be told honestly, good, bad, or indifferent from a manager, and generally that's what most players want is that honesty. And a good man manager will be honest with his players and not tell him one thing, oh, you're the best player, I like it, but then drop you next week, because then you send him mixed signals. You were rubbish last week, that's why you're not playing. You might not like it, but at least you've got to accept it. Yeah. And it's honest. You can't turn around and say, well, he's talking behind my back, because he's not. He's telling you in front of you. So
when a manager does change, what's it like as a footballer? Do you all sort of sit in the lunchroom and think, what's going to happen next?
Well, it's
and gossip.
To me, it's happened 3 times as a player, which ain't bad in 12 seasons. First time was Roy McFarlane got the sack from Chesterfield, and that was a shock. It was totally out of the blue. We were in League One, and we were hovering above the relegation zone. We weren't in the relegation zone, but we were hovering above it and flirting with danger. And I remember it clear as day. We sat in the change room, and we used to wait for meetings, but this day it was extra long, and I think it was about 3 o'clock in the end by the time the manager come in for our meeting, and he basically just walked in and he just said, quite emotional actually. He was quite choked up, and he just said, "Look, I've just had a meeting with the board, and I've officially been relieved of my duties. I'd like to thank you all for your effort and everything you have done this season and previous seasons that you've worked with me." He shook everyone's hand and he says, "I genuinely wish you all the best, and I'll be cheering you on, and I hope you stay up." We ended up getting relegated that season. We just couldn't do enough to stay up. But Lee had, let's say, he tried to bring confidence into the squad, and yeah, it was tough though. It was tough to lose that, and I think looking back, maybe it might have been the wrong decision from the board. I don't know. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. The next one was quite weird. I'd just been signed on the 1st of January from Chesterfield to Bristol Rovers. Paul Buckle had just signed me. And then on the 3rd of January he got the sack. So I'd only been there 2 days. We played one game. And then Buckle got the sack. And then Sean North took over for, I think it was 2 or 3 games. And then Mark McGee come in. And it was a wake-up call, I think, to everyone, because I remember when he first come in, he was like, right, you aren't fit enough. So I think we had a weekend off where we didn't have a game. So we had it was 12 days before our next game. We had a mini pre-season. He just ran us, got us fit, and to be fair to him, we went on a really good run. I think we started. I don't think we were. I think we went about 10, 12 games unbeaten towards the end of the season, and we comfortably been it was 10th or 11th in League Two. So we ended up. It turned us right around, and his initial. A lot of managers will come in and say you're just not fit enough. You need to get fitter, and they'll run you and try. I think subconsciously, I don't think it's a conscious decision, but a lot of players subconsciously think, right, I've got to impress the manager now, and they might give that little bit extra, which is disappointing to say and to hear. But I think that is generally the case.